This is a dramatic escalation. You've got US President Donald Trump, who has now ordered 800 National Guard troops into Washington, D.C. and placed the city's police department under federal control, claiming that the nation's capital is in the grip of violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals. Of course, those criminal antecedents not matching with the actual data, according to various tabloids and the New York Times as well. But Donald Trump says the move is meant to reestablish law and order and public safety, even though official data shows violent crime in Washington hit a 30-year low just last year and has fallen by more than a quarter this year in 2025. But the president has announced the deployment from the White House, flanked by his Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on one side and Attorney General Pam Bondi on the other, who will now oversee this police force takeover by the Republican administration. Donald Trump also warned that he could send the United States' military in if it was needed. But hey, Washington's Democratic mayor, Muriel Bowser, has sharply rejected the president's claims, calling them exaggerated, politically motivated, and flatly untrue. She points to police statistics showing crime is at historic lows and not surging. Now, under the Home Rule Act, one that's cited by the US president, Washington, D.C. has limited self-governance, but Congress retain ultimate authority. Trump invoked emergency powers under that act, citing special conditions to justify this particular intervention. And he has also signaled that his lawyers are exploring ways to strip the city of local autonomy entirely, a move that would require congressional action. Critics say this is part of a broader Donald Trump strategy to assert federal control over Democratic-led cities, pointing to his similar deployment of the thousands of National Guard troops to Los Angeles during the immigration protests earlier this year, and to his controversial 2020 deployment in Washington again during the George Floyd protests. The latest action also comes despite Trump's own FEMA cutting 44% of security funding for the National Capital Region this year, raising questions about whether this move is about safety or is it about politics. And for now, the streets of Washington will see a heightened federal security presence as long as the military is not called in, just like the US president says so, and a sharp political battle over just how much power the president can wield over America's capital city. 800 National Guard troops already deployed. Donald Trump says this is a bid to reestablish law and order. The Democratic mayor of Washington, D.C. says statistics quite clearly tell us that the numbers are at historic lows and not surging when you're talking about crime rate in Washington, D.C. And Donald Trump goes on to say, well, if needed, we'll pull in the U.S. military as well.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly.
Well, personally, I don't really think it's going to really do anything because I don't see what's the current law enforcement is doing now. But, you know, I guess we'll wait and see. But I don't really have faith in the law system right now.
Honestly, it sounds like a gateway to military occupation. I mean, D.C. is already federal land and you're increasing law enforcement. What's the line that you're going to draw to, I guess, delineate between what Metro PD or DC PD and federal officers, the Army, the military? So it sounds like the precursor to military occupation in D.C.
So I don't really care who, I don't care if Trump runs the city, I don't care if Mayor Bowser runs the city, I really don't care who runs the city. As a business owner, there should not be crime on the streets of any city. regardless if it's Cape Town, South Africa, if it's DC, if it's New York, should stop the crime.